Well, their agenda does not allow us to do that at all. We believe that the so-called development agenda is an empty package. It's very interesting to see how the developed countries keep promising the same money. They promised the same money at the G8, and now they're re-promising the same money. That doesn't mean they're increasing it. They're going to try to get several dozens of billions of dollars in reduction of tariffs in the poor countries. So that'll take away the income from the poor countries, and in return, they will give them $2 billion in new aid for trade. Anybody who signs that sort of a contract deserves to be poorer, because it's like buying, what we say in America, it's like buying the Brooklyn Bridge, which is not for sale. No, this agenda is not about helping the poor. The Americans offered $7 million to 5 cotton-producing countries that are losing hundreds of millions every year because they can't sell their crops, because the American subsidies are allowing American producers to sell way under the costs of production. So I could go on, but the bottom line is that this is not about poverty. It's not about alleviating poverty or about introducing development. It is about helping the same rich countries and interests that have always been rich to become more rich.
Either.
Well, I think any advance that comes on the MDGs is going to come out of civil society, and we have a very hard time because we have to counter now very well organized power at the international level. The World Bank and the IMF are creating poverty. They are engendering more poor people through their structural adjustment programs. We know that. And that's been going on for 20 years now. But of course, their answer is, well, they just haven't done it long enough or hard enough. But I think anyone who is honest about looking at the results can see that the neoliberal policies that these institutions promote, and I include the WTO in that constellation, are creating more poverty and are not going to contribute to solving the problems of the poor or to attaining the MDGs.
And what about back to this WTO meeting? What do you think about the agree? What would be the best possible agreement?
Well, the best possible agreement is not on the table, so I think that no deal would be better than what we are likely to get, and I would be very happy to see this institution weakened. I believe we need trade rules, but not these rules, because these rules are only helping corporations. You can see, for example, in the banana decision, that's going to wipe a whole lot of small island economies off the map, because they're not going to be able to keep on selling their banana crop. And that's a decision of the WTO, where you can say specifically, here is a decision that was made on such a date, and this is going to increase the poverty of tens of thousands of people who have no alternative to the production of bananas. So we have to ask, what do they want? Well, they want, clearly, access to the European market for Chiquita brands, which used to be called United Fruit. You're too young to remember that. But in Chile, they remember United Fruit. And in many other Latin American and Central American countries, they remember them. And Chiquita brands is just the new incarnation of United Fruit, and that banana decision was made on behalf of Chiquita brands. Well, I would like to see the WTO change its rules completely. I think it's a scandal that its entire jurisprudence is made completely separately from all other sources of international law. The dispute resolution body is in no way obliged to pay any attention at all to international human rights law, to environmental conventions, to the Biodiversity Convention, or to any other kinds of law that has been developed elsewhere. I know it's weak, but still, these instruments do exist. And the WTO decides on only commercial grounds, and we're about to get the same sort of thing, I fear very much, in January with the genetically modified organisms decision, which will try to force Europeans to eat Monsanto's food and grow Monsanto's seeds. This, to me, is a clear violation of people's rights and of farmers' rights, because we know environmentally it's going to be a disaster. We have all the scientific proof of that we need. We know that this is going to prevent farmers from growing organic food next door to genetically modified seeds. And I don't know if it's safe or not safe. I'm not going to say scientifically on that, but what I know is that people ought to have a choice and should not be obliged to import something that they don't want to import.